1904, the Japanese soldiers all charged forward to attack Russian soldiers. The battle was so fierce, but there was a soldier who refused to die, and they called him immortal Sugimoto. He fought like a demon, they say. He was badly so hurt that he was almost at death's door, and the next day, he was up and running around. They said that bayonets, machine guns, and even cannonballs couldn't kill him. But that legendary man was busy panning for gold in the river, and neither was he given a gold medal for his heroic deed. He would have gotten a gold medal if he hadn't halfway killed a superior officer he didn't like. And he is panning gold because he needs money. The man drinking then decided to tell him an interesting story, and the story got to do with gold. This really caught Sugimoto's attention. A long time ago, one used to be able to find tons of gold nuggets, the size of soybeans, on the Hokkaido riverbanks. Around that time, some of the Ainu was storing up tons of the gold to fight the Japanese. And then a single man stole all the gold and killed the Ainu who owned it. It was 20 cans of gold, enough to buy every brothel in Otaru and have money to spare. The police were after the man, so he hid the gold somewhere in Hokkaido, but he was arrested before he could tell anyone where it was, and thrown into Abashiri prison, the prison at the far end of the earth, to be sentenced to death. He wanted to tell his comrades on the outside where the gold was, but he never wrote a letter, since the guards will just steal it. Everybody was seriously looking for this gold. No matter what they did to him, he didn't tell anyone where the gold was. In the end, one of the guards turned out to be a horrible man. He cuts the tendon of one of the man's leg so he couldn't escape. But what the man did was that he tattooed the body of his fellow death row inmates in his cell, with a code that revealed the location of the treasure. He mixed charcoal with saliva and then slowly carved that ink with the needle he had kept hidden. It said that only his comrades on the outside can decrypt the code, and what he said to the other prisoners was that they should escape from the prison, and whoever succeeds can have half of the treasure. But to crack the code, you would need all the prisoners' tattoos. Some of the less reputable members of the military heard the rumors about the tattoos and dragged all the prisoners out of their cell, saying they were going to transport them. Well, the police and military were also after the gold, but that was the prisoners' chance to escape. They knew that somebody would get greedy and take them outside, and then the prisoners killed all the soldiers, and every last one disappeared into the forest. After the story ended, Sugimoto remembered his friend in the army who wanted to make money for his family's sake and wanted a good doctor to take a look at his wife's eye, because every day she loses more of her vision. But he couldn't make it back to Japan, so he tasked Sugimoto to take care of his daughter before his death. Sugimoto woke up from his sleep and realized that the man was pointing a gun at him. It was because he had said too much about the gold. The man ended up running away since he couldn't defeat Sugimoto. That was when Sugimoto finally began to believe the gold tale. Sugimoto decided to hunt him down, but he later found the man dead and was stored in ice. He then saw the footprint of a bear, and the bear was the one who buried the man there, which is a way of preserving the rest of his meal. As he was examining the man's body, he saw a tattoo all around his body. He finally realized that the man was part of the prisoners from his tale. It wasn't just a tale, and that explains how the man knew so much about the gold and the tattoos on his back would lead to the treasure. He then decided to carry the man somewhere else, or the bear would come back and eat the part of the treasure code. As he was about leaving, he saw a bear on his way, which immediately attacked him. But the bear was shot down by an arrow that had poison mixed with red stingray needles and wolfsbane root. She first removed the meat from the poisoned arrow because it's a strong poison, which will ruin the meat if you don't remove it. Sugimoto told the girl that the man's stomach got eaten and he was buried. Sugimoto thought maybe it was the dead bear that killed him, but it was strange, because when a bear had just come out of its cave after hibernation, its stomach had shrunk, so it can't eat immediately. But the beast's stomach was empty. That is to say, another bear ate the man, which was really bad, because the only ones who can eat meat at this time of year are manhwarecap. In the language of Ainu, they're called those that wander in winter. They're very bad-tempered and dangerous bears who failed to go into hibernation. Sugimoto wanted to take the man to the nearest village, but the girl told him that he shouldn't try it because he had been half-eaten by a manhwarecap, and if one stakes food from them, they'll chase them anywhere to get it back. That is to say, if he goes to a village, the bear will follow him there. Sugimoto then told her the story about the gold. He still can't believe the story fully, but if what the man said was true, they don't want his corpse to be eaten by the bear. So he asked her to help him because he needed money badly to take care of his dead friend's family. The girl believed the gold tale because one of the slain Ainu was her father. She then decided to gather firewood, although the bear does not fear fire, but they will be using the light to shoot the bear and use the corpse as a decoy to ambush it. Suddenly, the girl realized the purpose on the tattoo. She told Sugimoto that the man who drew the tattoo was very cruel. He never intended to split the treasure with the prisoner. Since the tattoos stretch around the chest and arms, and they're all cut off at the body's median line, it's just like the lines you use to mark the cuts you'll make when stripping the pelt from a deer or bear, which was to say, the man planned to kill them and take their skins. Sugimoto decided to skin the man before the bear arrived, but the girl told him that there was no time for that, since the bear always stayed near their prey, so they'll have to defeat it, because once a bear kills someone, as punishment, they can no longer eat anything but human flesh. They'll become dangerous and evil god who don't fear humans, and they're called Wankamai. They find out the humans they feared are actually weak creatures. She told him that the bear will come, so he should keep the fire running because they can't fight in the dark. The bear suddenly attacked as they were preparing. Sugimoto couldn't give it any damage at all. She then told Sugimoto to get below it and cling to its belly, although she wasn't able to see anything because of the darkness, but she basically knows where it is. Even if she don't hit its vitals, the poison will do the work. But Sugimoto told her to stop because the arrow would hit him. He told her to stay put and he would handle it himself. The bear began to charge after the girl when she failed to pierce the deer's skin with her first shot. But she was saved by a white mountain wolf, which relentlessly attacked the bear. Well, after all the struggles and puzzle, Sugimoto ended up killing the bear by stabbing it with the sharp sword on his gun. The fact that the man with the tattoos was living and hiding means that it's likely the gold hasn't been found yet, and it's likely the man who killed her father is probably still alive within the prison, and the government won't want him killed until they've found the gold. But the minute someone finds the gold, he ceases to be valuable. Sugimoto then cuts out the skin from the man's body. He told the girl that finding the gold was the best way to avenge her father's death, and that he'd be the one to dirty his hands. All she needs to do was lend him her wisdom. Although they have different goals, but the same path. After they both decided to work together, they decided to exit the mountain, because if the escaped prisoners were looking for the gold, they'd stay in Hokkaido. Hokkaido is a big place, but the prisoners aren't wild animals. They won't be able to survive hidden in the mountains. But in a small village, where outsiders stand out, but an escaped prisoner is likely to hide in a large town, where he won't stand out in the crowd. The most populated cities in Hokkaido are Sapporo, Hakodate, Asahikawa, and the place they are, which is Otaru. Sugimoto was having a hot bath. He then asked a man if he had seen any customers around with weird tattoos, not like the ones the Yakuza have, but a mix of curves and straight lines, but the man hasn't seen any like that. Same goes for the girl. She was asking around with a poster on her hands, but none of the people she asked have any clue either.